Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, October 29th, 2012. This will be a date long remembered in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic region, especially by the meteorological community, as Hurricane Sandy is approaching the New Jersey shoreline. Should make landfall tonight, and the next 24 hours will be quite brutal here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Here's the very latest National Hurricane Center track for this storm, and Sandy has now undergone a turn to the left. It's really moving to the northwest right now, and will continue to make a sharp left turn towards the southern New Jersey coastline. It had been moving to the northeast over the last couple of days, but now in response to what we've been talking about for a week now, a deep upper level trough with a lot of cold Arctic air behind it. In response to that, the storm is making an unprecedented left turn right towards the New Jersey coastline, and here is the latest official track. It remains a hurricane this morning. In fact, it ominously strengthened overnight down to 946 millibars, and that pressure represents a pressure that has never been seen before in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. In fact, most low pressure records that I've seen over the last couple of days in the Mid-Atlantic region are 960 millibars or above. Looks like that'll be broken with this particular storm. In fact, I would check your barometers later on this afternoon and tonight, because it may be a once-in-a-lifetime pressure reading that you see. Just to, as a point of comparison, the perfect storm in October of 1991 bottomed out at 972 millibars. Of course, that did a lot of devastation up in the New England area. This particular storm, again, right now is at 946 millibars, and if anything, it should strengthen some more before landfall tonight in response to that deep upper level trough of low pressure. Once it makes a landfall over during the nighttime in southern New Jersey or the Delaware Bay region, it'll move very slowly inland, and by tomorrow night it'll only have moved as far as, let's say, south central Pennsylvania, on its way then to finally, as it's weakening, turning to the north. So we do have a dangerous situation here. Sandy, again, has strengthened overnight to 946 millibars with sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. A couple of different features with Sandy that make it unprecedented. First of all, this sharp left turn is pretty much unprecedented in terms of a hurricane here in the Mid-Atlantic region. If you ever conjured up a scenario, worst case scenario, for a hurricane to affect places like Philadelphia or South Jersey or New York City, even down to D.C., it would be a strong hurricane sitting out over the Gulf Streams that suddenly lurches to the left and comes inland without giving it much time to weaken. And that is pretty much what's going to happen in this particular situation. Another rather unprecedented feature with respect to this storm is how widespread the wind field is. It's one of the largest gale force wind fields ever seen in the Atlantic with respect to hurricanes, if not the largest diameter, one of the largest. Yesterday there was some 1,000 kilometers with gale force winds, and as widespread as it is, this storm will have an effect later on today and tonight as far west as near Chicago, where there will be strong waves being whipped up on Lake Michigan over the Chicago region. So a lot of things going on that make this a once-in-a-lifetime event. Also, as we just mentioned, the pressure readings will probably be the lowest ever in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. Now, with this approach here in southern New Jersey, the winds for the most part later on today and tonight will be screaming out of the northeast to the north. Storm surge is very likely to be historic levels up and down the New Jersey coastline all the way into New York Harbor on the north side of this landfalling hurricane, which will occur in the nighttime hours. After the storm moves inland, by tomorrow sometime, the winds could actually shift around and still be very strong tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, but perhaps out of the southwest or west in much of the Mid-Atlantic region after that storm passes inland towards central Pennsylvania. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop, and clearly you can see the turn has begun in response to a deep upper level trough. That deep upper level trough with associated Arctic air will give this storm a shot of adrenaline, and it'll actually intensify before making landfall at already very low pressure values of 946 millibars. It's currently moving north or perhaps north-northwest will continue to make that left turn and head right towards the southern New Jersey coastline, maybe anywhere from Delaware Bay to just up the coastline, Cape May, New Jersey, for example. Don't be too concerned with exact landfall because, again, winds are quite extensive, well out away from the center. Of course, a storm surge will be of tremendous values here, tremendous levels up and down the New Jersey coastline all the way into New York Harbor. Well, one model that has done very well with this particular scenario from days out is the European model, and this is the very latest European model run from overnight. And this is for this evening, and it's just an incredible looking map, and this model has been quite consistent with a tremendous deep low pressure system moving right ashore the New Jersey coastline, and it continues to advertise that a 949 millibar low at landfall over the New Jersey coastline, central or southern New Jersey. It looks more like southern New Jersey to me for later on tonight. 949 again. That's far below the lowest pressure readings that I noticed over the weekend for many of the Mid-Atlantic locations, which again were about 960 millibars or above. Just a tremendously large field of tight isobars here, and which translates into strong winds. Again, all the way out to Lake Michigan here. They'll have some high waves as a result of Sandy. The fact that it's a slow mover does not help the situation either. Of course, that just gives a prolonged period of damaging winds. That's one of the reasons why there'll be unfortunately widespread power outages throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, way up into New England, way down, perhaps down into the Carolinas from this, and out west, out to the Appalachians. Winds I expect in the I-95 corridor to gust up to 60 to 80 miles per hour, and the peak of the storm will be this afternoon, tonight, into early tomorrow. It looks like tonight will be one of those nights that we hardly ever get, or if ever get around here in the Mid-Atlantic region, where we'll be inside, hulling up and listening to the howling winds outside, much like they do frequently in Hurricane Alley. Again, this is the predicted landfall pressure of 949 millibars by the European model, which has been the best model, and all the models now are in agreement that this is a prolonged period of damaging winds. Again, 60 to 80 miles per hour throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, with even higher gusts than that, especially along the coastline. Perhaps a historic storm surge up and down the New Jersey coast, all the way into New York Harbor. 5 to 10 inches of rain are likely. The rain will be falling horizontally at times later on this afternoon and tonight. Again, deteriorating conditions this afternoon. If you're at work this morning, my recommendation is to go home during the midday hours, because conditions will rapidly deteriorate this afternoon. The brunt of the storm will be from late this afternoon through tonight into the early part of Tuesday. And by the way, cold air has moved in on the backside of this, and there will be just tremendous heavy snow from perhaps southwestern PA throughout West Virginia into the eastern part of Kentucky and North Carolina, perhaps on the order of a foot or more of heavy wet snow from this storm over the next 12 to 24 hours. Again, most of that will fall over the state of West Virginia, maybe extreme western Virginia, and into southwestern Virginia. Here's another forecast map from the European model for this evening, Monday evening. Again, this has been the best model in terms of handling this particular scenario. This is the winds predicted by the model at right around landfall this evening at 850 millibars. This is only about 1,000 or 1,500 feet up, so it gives a good idea of the winds at the surface that can be expected. And again, the strongest winds look like that'll occur in the Mid-Atlantic region from D.C. to New York, just ahead of landfall, in the period from just ahead of landfall to just after landfall, late this afternoon through early Tuesday. And the reds here represent 70 to 80 mile per hour winds just above the surface here at 850 millibars, all the way down past south of the D.C. region, all the way up into New England, maybe the southern part of Maine. So a wide area of hurricane force winds here, at least in the lowest part of the atmosphere, predicted by this particular model. And this is, of course, one of the reasons why we expect widespread power outages and downed limbs and trees. And one of the problems also is the fact that a lot of this area received some rain yesterday, quite a bit of rain, in fact, in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. That kind of tends to soften the ground and unfortunately makes it easier for strong wind gusts to uproot trees. So the recipe is there for widespread power outages later on this afternoon and tonight as these winds really pick up when Sandy makes landfall. Well, the final map I'd like to show right now is the current radar loop, and the rain is falling in tremendous amounts right now across southern New Jersey and especially over the Chesapeake Bay region into D.C., and all of this will slowly translate up the coast, and by later on this afternoon it'll be just raining horizontally throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, I-95 corridor. Again, on the order of 5 to 10 inches of rain with flooding, coastal flooding, inland flooding. Some areas will receive more than that. Looks like in general the tendency is for the heaviest rain to be maybe from Philadelphia region, South Jersey, down to the D.C. region, with just a little bit lighter precipitation amounts up in the New York City region. But again, a general 5 to 10 inch rainfall here in the Mid-Atlantic region with isolated higher amounts. Rain will be flowing horizontally later on this afternoon and tonight as those winds pick up tremendously. So that's it for now. Stay tuned for updates at the SIweather.com. Good luck riding the storm out and stay safe. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.